My talk is technologies are a kind of words. And each of man's artifacts are in fact a kind of word, a metaphor that translates experience from one form to another. So you think about the color blue, what we all see is different from one person to another. It's translating experience with words. But we know that technology is of words as web developers and designers and UX people because we learn these new technologies so we can say something different. We want to say something different. So we know that these are words that allow us to say something different. And each of these words or technologies allows us to say a story differently. Like a photojournalism is different stories than what a meme can do or what we can do in Twitter. You don't have a B-roll in a print newspaper article. These things allow us to tell different stories. Winston Churchill said, "We shape our buildings and afterwards our buildings shape us." And he was talking about rebuilding Parliament after it was bombed. The next point is that cultural situations are composed of areas of attention, which are called figure, and areas of inattention, which are called ground. So for this example, while you're concentrating on what I'm saying, I'm the figure, but if you get distracted by something else, that figure switches to that area which is unattention about the bright sun outside or how you have an itch on your leg or whatever it may be. But this figure ground metaphor helps us examine any of the technologies we use and the effects they have on ourselves and our cultures. And let me give you an example of figure ground that may be better. Most of you have probably already seen it. I know we're not supposed to have props, but I don't know how else to do this visually. People have seen the FedEx logo. And in the FedEx logo, and once you see what I'm going to tell you about, you will always see, and a lot of you already know what's here. There's an arrow in the FedEx logo, and once you see it now, every time you see a FedEx truck, you'll see the figure in the ground. The ground, which used to be invisible, is now a figure. And this happens all the time in human beings in our culture. As we all know, the history of zero, the Greeks in all their mathematics never had zero in all their mathematics. It was a foreign concept, it was an unknown concept, it was a ground. The color blue is only known for modern times. When people were asked to sort things, green and blues would be put together. Empathy, at a talk at JSConf Iceland, the talk about empathy. Empathy is a new term to this century, though we've always had the capability to be empathetic to people. So we have this figure-ground relationship, and when you're trying to look at technology, Marsh McLuhan came up with these laws of media, which he was working on when he died, and they're not as well known as his other things. But they're called a tetra. And of these laws of media are intended to provide a real means of identifying the properties and actions exerted upon ourselves by our technologies and media and artifacts. And we look at all these things that we create, and we have these many times unintentional consequences, which are the ground that we don't know about. And he says there are 4 laws. 1, any new technology enhances things. New and improved, we all know that pretty well. But what it enhances is one of our senses. One that we don't think about is any new technology retrieves something old that previously been discarded. For example, chatbots are real popular now, and they're retrieving the art of conversation. And you can start looking at any technology and see what they retrieve. One of the more interesting ones is it reverses. Anything, when you overuse it, overheats, whatever, becomes just the opposite of what it was intended to be. With automobiles, they got you there faster from one place to another, but when they're overused, they turn into parking lots on freeways that get you there faster walking than by taking the car. And obsolescence, which is the most interesting thing we don't know about, we don't think about. It does, when something's obsolete, it doesn't mean it's discarded. They're still making buggy whips and new things. Okay. So what I want to do here at this conference is thinking about how those 4 rules apply to offline. Thank you.